On the afternoon of June 24, 1944, amidst the frigid and hostile waters of the Norwegian Sea, Canadian Flight Lieutenant David Hornell faced an impossible mission. Piloting a Catalina flying boat on anti-submarine patrol, he would go head-to-head with a German U-boat and, ultimately, the unforgiving sea itself. His final actions would become a lasting symbol of valor, sacrifice, and the deadly stakes of World War II maritime warfare. During a routine patrol, Hornell's port gunner broke the silence. "Do you see anything on the port side?" Hornell looked left and in the distance spotted the distinct silhouette of a German submarine U-1225. He immediately sounded the combat alert, steering the Catalina toward the enemy with 4 depth charges ready. Below, aboard the U-boat, Lieutenant Ernst Sauerberg responded quickly. The submarine began evasive maneuvers while its deck mounted anti-aircraft guns. Two 20mm and a 37mm opened fire on the Catalina. Shells from the submarine struck the aircraft's fuselage. Hornell ordered radio operator Sidney Cole to report their position, but before he could finish the transmission, an explosion rocked the radio compartment. Cole, wounded, managed to press the send button, unaware the radio was already destroyed. Despite mounting damage, Hornell pressed on. The Catalina shuddered as its right wing was torn by enemy fire, and a 37mm shell disabled the starboard engine, which soon caught fire. The crew kept fighting. The forward gunner strafed the conning tower with twin .303 Browning machine guns, briefly silencing the U-boat's defensive guns. But then, one of the Catalina's weapons jammed. The Germans returned fire. Another barrage ripped through the aircraft. Fuel sprayed from the damaged engine, feeding the flames. With the submarine now turning to evade, Hornell aligned the plane for a final attack run and released the depth charges. The explosions rocked the water around U-1225. Moments later, the burning Catalina spiraled toward the sea. Hornell knew the aircraft would never make it home. "We're going down. Everyone hold on tight." He prepared to ditch in the rough sea. Cole continued to transmit SOS messages until the last second. The first attempt to land failed. The plane bounced off the waves. On the second try, the Catalina slammed into the sea, its airframe barely holding together. The crew scrambled to deploy their inflatable rafts. Engineers Donald Scott and Fernand Laurent launched boats from opposite sides of the Catalina. Hornell and several others jumped into the freezing water to push the rafts clear of the burning wreckage. Suddenly, Cole remembered the damaged radio. He attempted to retrieve it, but Hornell shouted him back too late. The Catalina exploded and sank. As the men assembled in the rafts, Hornell counted only 7. Laurent was missing. They spotted a second raft in the distance and Laurent, barely aboard. Just as 2 crew members tried to join him, his raft burst. The freezing sea claimed them again. The remaining survivors squeezed onto one raft, too small for all of them. Hornell and 2 others stayed in the water, rotating places with others to delay hypothermia. Hornell, already weakened, remained in the sea the longest. Overhead, a Catalina from their base appeared. The men fired flares once, twice, 3 times. At last, the aircraft turned toward them. Though unable to land in rough seas, it circled above and signaled by Morse code, "Speedboat coming. Help is on the way." Then, submarine destroyed. Cheers broke out among the freezing crew. But their ordeal was far from over. A rogue wave overturned their raft. Disoriented, Hornell helped right the boat as they scrambled back aboard. Time passed slowly. Hornell's vision blurred. Crewman Laurent began to hallucinate. Despite desperate attempts to keep him awake, Laurent succumbed to the cold. Hornell made the agonizing decision to commit his body to the sea. Fuel running low, the overhead Catalina signaled their position one last time and departed. Moments later, a bomber appeared and dropped a wooden lifeboat, but the wind carried it hundreds of meters away. Hornell, almost blind and barely conscious, tried to swim after it. His crew held him back, knowing it would mean certain death. After 21 grueling hours in the sea, a rescue boat finally arrived. As the men were pulled aboard, Hornell looked up from the raft. A faint smile crossed his face, and then he closed his eyes for the final time. Despite their ordeal, 5 men survived and made a full recovery. Flight Lieutenant David Hornell, however, died from hypothermia. He was posthumously awarded the Victoria Cross, presented to his widow. Second pilot Denemy later reflected, What distinguished Flight Lieutenant Hornell was his incredible ability to continue flying such a badly damaged aircraft, especially in the face of massive enemy fire. His courage and unwavering bravery marked him as a truly extraordinary man. Words cannot begin to do justice to his outstanding achievements.